Now turning our attention to a massive development with respect to investigations against the already banned Popular Front of India. The NIA, the National Investigation Agency, has filed a fresh charge sheet against 19 individuals, including 12 National Executive Council members of the banned outfit Popular Front of India, for their alleged involvement in a conspiracy to wage a war for establishing an Islamic caliphate in India. The new charge sheet reveals that the PFI plan to infiltrate the judiciary and the army and also wage a war against the Indian government. It also reveals that the organization, in a bid to subjugate the majority community, brainwashed youth and also plan to make an alliance with minorities to divide other communities in this country. This conspiracy is part of a bigger PFI plot, as per the charge sheet, which is to establish Islamic rule in India by 2047. Let me go across to my colleague Bhavtosh, who's been tracking these investigations very closely. Bhavtosh, what was really startling about what this particular charge sheet reveals is that the PFI plan to indoctrinate about 10% of the Muslim population in India in its bid to subjugate the majority community.
Yes, Siddharth. In fact, several charge sheets have been filed by the National Investigation Agency. Remember, it was last September that the centre took the serious step and banned PFI, and subsequent to that, NIA arrested 105 members and top leadership of PFI. Among them was OS Salam, who was in fact the chairman of PFI. Several charge sheets have been filed, 5 of them by the NIA, and the charge sheet that Times Now has access clearly mentions that the attempt was to at least make sure that 10% of the Muslim population allegedly joins PFI. Now, if that could have happened, they wanted infiltration of PFI cadres in judiciary as well as Indian army, and they have said if that move was successful, then the whole idea was to wage war against the nation. That's the finding of NIA, and they have further said that the idea was to dismember the country, and that's the reason why these leaders, the top 29 leaders of PFI, have now been booked under various sections of anti-terror law.
And stay with us, Bhavtosh, because it's not just the fact that they wanted to convert India into an Islamic state by 2047. That's at least part of their agenda. They also, in fact, plan to indoctrinate a sizable percentage of the Muslim population in pursuit of those objectives. Let me, in fact, go across to Shivya, my colleague from the news desk, who will take us through some more details from that extremely damning charge sheet. Yes, Shivya.
Yes, so Times Now has exclusively accessed this charge sheet filed by NIA, which names 19 accused persons. But let's also have a look at how the charge sheet busts the anti-India plot by the PFI. It says, and I quote, 4 stages of progression towards Islamic rule. Perhaps this is what the agencies have been saying, that this is what the agenda was. First, unite Muslims and provide weapon training to PFI cadres. Then, selective use of violence to demonstrate strength and terrorize opponents. And then, ally with SCs, STs and OBCs to divide Hindus for political gains and infiltrate police, army and judiciary. After completion of all 4 stages, to unveil a new constitution based on Islamic Sharia law with the help of external forces, and then to organize physical efficiency training under the guise of yoga classes and healthy people, healthy nation, such like campaigns, train PFI cadres in handling of weapons and to acquire plots of land in Muslim-dominated localities or remote locations for training. Perhaps, Siddharth, this is all from A to Z. The charge sheet nails the entire plot, how they actually planned everything when it comes to the anti-India agenda, which was allegedly conspired by the PFI.
Okay, many thanks for taking us through those details, Shivya. Let me also go across to Mr. Ratan Sharda for his perspective on some extremely incriminating information that my colleague Bhavtosh has accessed in that charge sheet. Mr. Sharda, what do you have to say specifically about one particular observation made in the charge sheet, that the PFI very meticulously had planned to basically rope in or indoctrinate approximately 10% of the Muslim population in the country in its pursuit of establishing Islamic rule by 2047?
See, while PFI never had its agenda, and these papers are accessed earlier also, and PFI is very blatantly organization looking for Sharia law in India and trying to implement it. I've already heard their story about 2047 as the deadline for bringing in Sharia-ruled Darul Islam in India. But my question is to their secular friends, their liberal friends, who question that how can you ban somebody, or when they say ban, they question that this is being victimization. So will they ever open their eyes to the dangers of extremist Islamism, or will they keep on pandering to these people in the name of vote bank? They will ask to ban PFI, then have tie-up with SDPI, and they will have tie-up with all other extremist Muslim organizations in one way or the other. So this is the question: are we ever going to open our eyes to these kind of vote bank politics, which encourages these kind of organizations to work very blatantly, very without any fear? They had been showing their intent much earlier during that parades in Kerala, and their people using these various kind of tools to divide people and divide society. You remember hijab agitation, all fake agitation. You remember CA fake agitation. PFI is today the branded organization, but there are many who are not yet known, who take the cover of decency, or who are being pandered to by these secular parties.
Okay, many thanks, Mr. Sharda. Let me also go across to Rahul Ishwar. Rahul Ishwar, when the PFI was banned on the 27th of September, last year, there were several affiliate organizations of the PFI that were also banned together with the PFI. That just gave us an indication of the extent to which the PFI had embedded itself through its cadre and its affiliate organizations in Indian society.
Absolutely. The tentacles of the poisonous Islamist ideology has really spread, and it is up to the government and agencies to check that. Kerala, South India is home to some great Muslim organizations like Indian Union, Muslim League, a progressive MES, and evolving Jamaat-e-Islami. But Islamist organization of PFI has really deep roots, and they have not the wholly Islamic, but the Islamist bend of thought. They have chopped their hands, and recently, if we go by our agencies, they were planning to spread their tentacles and attack South India in a bigger manner. When our army is engaged in the north, I know, God forbid, that war happens, they were even thinking of some kind of an armed revolution. This is absolutely spine-chilling and shocking. I hope civil society wakes up to it and don't give them any cloak of so-called human rights and so-called minority protection. Indian constitution and our civil society is strong enough to protect every community. We don't need extremist organized PFI.
Okay, many thanks, Mr. Ishwar. Let me also go across to Mr. S. Prakash of the Bharatiya Janata Party. Mr. S. Prakash, eventually the PFI can be expected to challenge the ban that has been imposed upon it as well as its affiliates on the part of the MHA, but all these incriminating findings in the charge sheet will only bolster the MHA's case against it when it goes to the UAPA tribunal.
Many startling revelations are coming out of PFI activities. Their hotbed is Kerala and Karnataka. Fortunately, now that the organization has been banned and many cases have been filed against them, it is their activity was very dangerous, was known from the beginning. Their motto was to divide the society among Hindu and Muslims, create communal disharmony and incite violence. And they were also responsible for killing several Hindu youths also in Karnataka. And unfortunately, our earlier regime was sympathetic towards PFI, and which bolstered their growth in Karnataka. Now they have been banned, and strict action is...
Like you rightly said, it's actually established a footprint in Karnataka, and it's pertaining to the arrests made in Karnataka that this latest charge sheet on the part of the NIA has been filed. Many thanks, Mr. S. Prakash, for your perspective.